Hey guys, today I brought out a handgun that was actually loaned to me by one of the guys I work with, and this is the HK VP9. It is HK's striker fired pistol. HK had maybe one of the first striker fired pistols, the HK P7, which was really, it's discontinued now, but was really popular and still remains kind of a collector handgun. They're pretty pricey, but I've been looking forward to shooting a VP9. I never have. Before I start shooting, I'll just go over some of the features of the handgun. Like I said, it is striker fired. The frame is polymer, the slide is machined. It does have the front cocking serrations and the rear cocking serrations. And something that's kind of neat, it also has these little extra grips that you can put in right here on the rear of the slide. They're removable if you don't like them, but they do kind of assist if you just grab those. It assists in cocking the handgun. And like I said, it is clear. The sights on these are just 3-dot sights. They're not Trigicon inserts. I think they're called like Dayglow or something. So they charge with light, and they will, sustain that charge for I don't know how many hours once it gets dark. But they're the 3-dot sight system. And even the daytime they look kind of greenish, and I'm assuming that's how they glow at night. On the slide, it does have the loaded indicator. The extractor kind of doubles as a loaded chamber indicator, and maybe once I throw a round in there, if I remember, I'll point that back out to you. But it does have some red there, so I'm assuming that will stick out far enough that you see the actual red, and it should be tactile, because right now it's just really smooth. The other thing is right here is the slide stop, slide lock, and it is ambidextrous. So the slide release or slide lock on the right hand side for a left-handed pistol shooter, which, if you watch any of my videos, I am a left-handed pistol shooter. This should help me out. Part of the problem is I'm so used to using my trigger finger to release slides when I use the slide stop to release the slide. A lot of times I'll just, pull back on the slide itself and release it that way. But I may attempt to use this. It is substantially thinner than on the primary side, but it's enough there that my thumb could hit it. I may try and use that, like I said. This one does have the blade safety in the middle of the trigger, similar to the Glock. So you have to have that depressed, or it won't fire. That's an additional safety on the handgun. This handgun also has the paddle mag release, which I do like the paddle mag releases on the HK weapons. So it makes it ambidextrous, so that you could use either hand, to release it. I typically use both, my firing finger and my thumb. When I release them, I've just become accustomed to that. I've become accustomed to releasing it that way. But I do like the paddle mag releases, and it does make that, pretty much fully ambidextrous. The magazines themselves, they hold 15 rounds. He has 3 magazines with the handgun that I'll be using today, so I will have to reload here and there, but I'll edit that out so it doesn't make the video, too long. The ammunition I'm using today will be the Winchester 9mm 124 grain, and this is the NATO. So supposedly the NATO, it's a little hotter than normal. I don't know, but this is the ammunition. All right, so what I'm going to do is, initially right up front here, These first 3 targets are about 5, 8, and a little under 11 yards. And I'm going to get used to the handgun. I'm going to fire, 2 or 3 mags at those, kind of see where point of aim and point of impact is hitting for me. Once I do that, then I will go ahead and readjust the camera and start going out to those longer ranges. So bear with me while I readjust the camera a little bit. I also told you I would show you the loaded chamber indicator. So it sticks out just a little bit, not a lot, and you can kind of barely feel it. Alright, so I was aiming at the bolt. So those aren't too bad, but obviously they're pretty close. So alright, I'm going to fire one more mag at these close ones. And I did use the ambi slide release, so it does work. I don't know if you saw it earlier. Alright, I adjusted the camera. The first 2 round gongs are about 11 yards from where I stand. The first black silhouette is a little over 16 and the second one is a little over 26. So let's see how we do on these intermediate targets. Alright guys, so I readjusted the camera and I'm going to focus in on that little bit farther set of targets. The third black silhouette as you're looking out there is the first one in that longer range set. It's about 41 yards. The fourth black silhouette's about 52 yards The fifth one's a little over 62, and then the final one out there is a little over 77. So I'm going to go ahead and see how I do on those. All right, I'm going to go out to the farthest one, see if I can hit that one. Bad thing is I cannot see where those are hitting. I heard a couple of hits on it, which is good. Just can't see it. Go back to the 41 yard. Go back out to about the 62 yard. Alright, I'm going to try and hit that farthest one again. I think I might have nicked the chain or something. It's leaning a little bit. So this has the cold hammer forged barrel with polygonal rifling. It is the 4.09 inch barrel, and I seem to be having pretty good luck out there with the longer ranges. The sights are not doing bad at all. Alright guys, I loaded up 3 more magazines, so I'm just going to fire those and have a little fun. And I'm going to stay right in here from the 5 yard out to about the second black silhouette, which is 26 plus yards. So all those targets in between there. Alright guys, so I just want to talk about the handgun real quick, and the weapon is clear. So I enjoyed firing it today. The ergonomics are really good for me. You know, that the texture is not overly aggressive, but it's just enough on there so it gives you a really good grip. And one thing I don't think I mentioned at the front of the video was you can replace the side panels and the back straps. Literally, there's like 27 combinations that you can make this fatter, thinner, you know, make it a little wider front to rear. You can really modify this grip to suit your hand, which is, you know, that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. I fired it just the way my buddy, you know, had it. I didn't want to mess with it. All the back straps and everything, side straps, back straps, they're all in the box, but I didn't want to mess with that. This is his handgun, and I'm sure he fit it to himself, and you know, it feels really good to me. I don't know that I would change it if I could. So another thing I should point out is I fired about 240 rounds, close to 250, and I didn't have a single failure to fire or failure to feed, nothing whatsoever. The handgun ran flawlessly, which is pretty much expected of HK. HK, they make, you know, quality products, and this VP9 is one of their quality products. I'm really glad I got to shoot it today. A couple of last things about it. I typically don't like 3-dot sight systems, the 3 white dot sight system specifically, but these are kind of the green day glow, I think is what they call them. If I'm getting that right, I might be wrong, I don't know. But I had no issues with these sights. I personally felt that I was firing pretty accurately at those longer distances with the sights. So although it goes against how I normally feel about the 3-dot sight system, I wouldn't change these sights. I kind of like them. And I don't know if I pointed out, but it does have the Picatinny rail, so you can add a light or something like that if you wanted to. And so I also, you know, I mentally forced myself to use the slide release the proper way as a left-handed firer. There's so many pistols that I'm just so used to using my firing, you know, trigger finger to release the slide that I do that even when there's an ambi slide release. It's just so ingrained into me, so I had to mentally, you know, force myself, and it worked really well. And you know, I had pointed out at the beginning, it's very thin, very minimalist, which is good, you know, good on HK, because right-handed pistol shooters probably wish that wasn't there. That, oh man, that'll get in my way, I don't want anything extra on that side of the gun. But it is so small and has such a small signature on the frame that I don't think it would be an issue for anybody, you know, any right-handed pistol shooter. So good job there, HK. And I think that's about it. So I give you that last look at the handgun. Like I said, close to 250 rounds, and you know, there's a little bit of carbon from the firing the handgun, smoke and carbon at the muzzle end, but overall it held up really well. And I have to say, I have to thank the buddy who loaned it to me and let me fire it today, George. I appreciate it. And if you want to sell it, just let me know. I may be in the market for this thing. It's pretty nice. Okay guys, like I said, I will put the distances to all the targets down in the comment section where I can fill in information right below. And I had a lot of fun, and anytime I can shoot steel with an HK, a borrowed HK at that, that's awesome. I will see you guys next time.